Just on from that, I was looking at your first Premier League game in charge was against Arsenal, was the famous 2-0. There's many current Arsenal players on your team that were the Arsenal team that day. You had Norgard and Ryan, and they had Saka and Ben White. Shows you the turnover.
So there was the 4 players that day.
Who actually featured.
And 2 of them are now traitors and moved to the wrong club. Yeah.
I guess when you look back at that game, which obviously was a really sort of had lift-offs for you in the Premier League in that match against Arsenal, how far do you feel you've come as manager, and how much do you feel Arteta has team faced?
I think Arteta is a good manager. I think he's one of the managers you respect all the phases of the game, which I always said in that aspect. As you say, that was a special game. It was his first game in the Premier League. Is a day I'll never forget, because that's, we started for every Brentford fans was unique, and of course that's 4 years ago, a little bit more than 4 years ago. So definitely learned a lot in the last 4 years about the different teams, about myself, what you do, but when I can say I had a decent experience before that, so it's a small, as I say, always adding layers. That's with the team, with myself. That's a little bit adding layer to communication, a little bit add layer to the leadership, a little bit add layer to small tactical tweaks, because I believe that I have clear principles, but constantly develop them a little bit, or tweak them a little bit. That's probably the learning.
You referenced the goal you scored in that game from the long throw the other day, which was set pieces. Rasmus Ankersen was really happy because he was all about long throws. I mean, when you were talking about that, you spoke about how the bigger clubs, with respect, have taken on the focus on set pieces, and Arsenal clearly one of those. Do you think that day that was a big moment for them, watching them you score that goal against them?
Arsenal? Oh, I don't know. I've seen Arteta being quoted for him always being interested in it for a long time. So that I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that the bits we've done at Brentford inspired a lot of clubs to focus even more on set pieces, and it is quite interesting that this year I go from Brentford to Tottenham. The spike in focus on set pieces for all the teams, like even more especially long throws, it's like crazy. It seems like everyone are very, very focused on, which we should be. It's a third of our goals. So why not be very good in that phase, and very good in high pressure, and we need to be good in many phases.
And just lastly, 2 things. One, is Archie Gray actually able to play if he's trained?
Yeah, he should be able to play, yeah.
And for Kyle Mawani playing the mask, what kind of challenge will that pose for him?
Hopefully none. He trained with it the last 4 sessions. So yeah, he looks fine. He can move. That's fine. Yeah.
That's nice. We talk about the time Arteta's had, and him making Arsenal into challenges. When you talk about taking 4 years or whatever, he has also spent a ton of money. And it strikes me that the real turning point was when they spent 100 million on Declan Rice. It seemed to take them to a different level. Your predecessor said that Tottenham, in his view, would never spend £100 million on a player. Obviously, it was a different setup then. So now, knowing the setup now, do you see a day where Tottenham could spend £100 million on a player?
In the next 50 years, then yes. That's a good question. I think there's a lot. It's very evident that every successful club, not for 1 year, but like not only a dynasty, but over years, let's say 5, 6, 7 years, to build that, you need a combination of time and do the processes over time. So get, depending on where the team come from. So, of course, so you go from here, you need to go here, take a little bit longer time. If you're here, then you maybe can do a little bit quicker. But to stay up there is still very difficult. So time and process for everyone involved. And then, of course, always need an investment. In football, you need to invest. If you want to have success, you need to invest in players. Hopefully do it cleverly, and we want to do it smart, so we don't invest too much and on the wrong players and all that, but you need to invest. 100 million, I don't know. Let's see. I don't think we are close to spend 100, let me put it that way, but I don't know. But let's see what will happen in the future.
And to actually catch Arsenal, to get onto that level consistently of Arsenal, whether it's 100 million or not, and you've sort of answered that, but you will have to spend a lot of money, won't you? You can only do so much. I mean, it's there for everyone to see. You have to spend that money.
Yeah, I think I'm a big believer that we need to develop the players, and we have. And I think if we do that, it's about how can I say, if you can develop players that not all of them should cost whatever 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever the amount is, because I think no one has done that. Liverpool didn't do that for them to go to the top. Even City haven't done that. So you need to be good to develop the players, which I believe that we are and we will be very good at. But then, of course, you also need to invest in the right potential of a player, and potentially can be 22 years old, he can be 26. Declan Rice is a good example. How old was he? 24, 25, something like that. But anyway, when he was bought, I think that's important. Yeah, no one achieved the top without investing as well.
And the Lewis family, without quoting figures, I'm not after figures on this question, but the Lewis family, they've put a message out of sustained success. So internally, have they said enough to assure you that they realise that that's what will need to happen?
They definitely said that they are all in for the club, and they want to be here for the long term, and they want to have success. That's of course a little bit big headlines. We'll see what's happening in the future, but I'm confident that they will back us to do everything we can to build a successful club. It's very, very difficult to give a specific answer on it, and I think it's very good. I'm very good at talking up here, but about showing it out there on the pitch consistently after setbacks. The same with them in the best positive way. That's what we need to do together.
Did you think you had EZE?
Yeah, what, sorry?
Did you think you had EZE?
Who's EZE?
EZE.
Very good player. He plays for Arsenal, a team we want to beat on Sunday.
Was there a point there when you thought he was going to be a Spurs player?
I think I've said before, I really like to speak about players that are here, and the other two I will speak about is Messi and Ronaldo. I need to find two other players when they're retiring in a year or two.
What do you think Arsenal, do you think Arsenal are better than they were last year? If so, what do you think they're doing better? What has made them the best team in the Premier League over this first phase of the season?
I think we don't want to praise them too much, Arsenal in general, but also we need to, we can't hide or look away from right now. They are top of the table in the Premier League, and I think they invested a lot in the squad, also in the summer over the last couple of years, so they have a very strong competitive squad with almost two good players in every position.
Matt, fast.
You spoke before the Super Cup issue about kind of sort of special operation for that match. Is it almost impossible to do something like that for this match, coming straight off an international break when you've probably only had a training session?
Yeah, I think that game was special in many ways. It was one game, one winner, one loser, not a draw, nothing. Against the best team in the world, PSG. And we've been together for 6 weeks, so that was a special operation, definitely.
We're talking a lot about Tottenham's injuries this season. Are you jealous in a way of Arsenal's squad there? Because Gabriel's out, and you look at who they could bring in, Khabib, Nkapé, Mascara, I
think it's said before, I'm happy with my squad. I think it's two clubs on two different journeys. I hate to say it, but a little bit ahead of us. But we know that's one thing. But in one game, 100% sure we'll be very competitive, and of course we can win on Sunday. And then of course we know in general squad depth is good and important, but I'm not really looking at other teams. I'm just looking at my team there. If I have a player out, that's what I'm focusing on. I need to have another one to replace a position.
Can I just ask about Bob? I think you said at the time he had a small procedure. Is there a chance that he needs something more significant or more special?
That I'm pretty sure he doesn't need. Yeah.
Is he currently training at all on the grass by himself?
We are very aware of how we do things. So when do we really push and when do we not push? So now we are in a place where we think we'll go forward and then we'll take from there.
Okay, and John, please.
John? Just to get back to the set pieces, you said you educated both coaches.
Yeah.
Very different coaches.
Yeah. Of course, it was, I would say, educated work with them. Very big potential, both of them as coaches. I think both of them are very curious. Both of them want to learn. Both of them want to develop constantly. How can I say? Studying the game of set pieces. So in that way, they are quite the same mindset in many ways. Trying to find a way how can you improve set pieces to hurt the opponents, corners, wide free kicks. So in that sense, they were similar. They have the one is Swedish and the other is French, so a little bit different temper. But besides that, nothing.
Do they see themselves as direct rivals in this battle? Like artillery pieces.
That's a good.
Work out what each other's going to do.
Yeah, no, that's the part. Is like, of course, Mikkel and I, with our coaching staff, will have a battle. How can we, get the upper hand, and then it'll be the same with Andreas and Nicholas.
Is that like the management this season? It could be a bit like a medieval warlord, sieging your position.
I definitely think that the game has got more and more tactical, and there's more and more tweaks to the game that I think is hugely important. But I think desire, determination, energy is equally important.
You see yourself as a pioneer of this, Mikkel?
Of what?
For making sure that you get everything out of set pieces. Because Mikkel said quite recently you've been 10 years in there.
Yeah, of course. I've read that as well. So I would say I would give the credit to Brentford because, of course, I was aware of set pieces, as I gave that example with my under 12 team in Frederiksværk back in '98. I did a little routine there, but that's not like the same that I was the pioneer of it. I think where I really took a focus jump was with Brentford, so they deserve the praise.
Okay.
The under 12's good at.
They were very good at playing football, but that game we made 2 routines and we won 2-0, so that's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.